Thing from the basement of La Penta, this is WICR.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Vault. I'm your host with the most, Jersey Joe, and how could you not be fired up for this weekend? Literally, we could not get a better sports weekend if we asked for it. You have just, of course, the Super Bowl, that's pretty big, but aside from that, just the magnitude of these games. If you're a soccer fan as well, you're in business. Chelsea, Manchester City is how we have to start off the show because you couldn't ask for a more important soccer game in the English Premier League to have this weekend, the day before the Super Bowl. It's kind of like an appetizer. That's going to warm us up for the big game on Sunday. But, this is it for Manchester City's season, basically. Their Premier League title hopes rest with this game. And as the week has transpired, a lot of things have kind of gone in City's favor. So let's start off on the Chelsea side. Now, Chelsea is coming off their win against Liverpool in the Capital One Cup the other day. That was on Tuesday. We had a break off here at Iona because of the snow, so a lot of us got to catch that game. It was pretty good, a pretty hard-fought game. A lot of controversy from the officiating in that game, but as we saw later in the week, Diego Costa was given a 3-match ban for stamping Emre Can. There was another pretty bad one on Skirtle, too, from Liverpool, I thought. But, this is kind of, look, Diego Costa's kind of got a reputation for this kind of thing. This is not the first time. It will not be the last time. But, if you look at a guy for Chelsea, he is their hugest offensive threat. Chelsea's so tactically sound. They play such good defense. But I think Diego Costa is the guy who they can always depend on. He generates so much offense, and he's just a matchup nightmare to have on the pitch. And I think his absence from this game is huge for City. And it's not just Costa. It's also Cesc Fabregas, who's also out, one of their biggest, best midfielders in this game. The two of them being out is huge for Chelsea. Now, they are home. They are at Stamford Bridge, so City does not have that favor going for them. But I just think those two absences really help out City. But City is staggering into this game. They just have not played well. Their last two matches, they lost to Arsenal 2-0 at Etihad at home for them, and they lost in the FA Cup to Middlesbrough. So they're not playing well at all. And the biggest thing that City's also missing Yaya Toure and Wilfred Bony. They recently acquired from Swansea City. They're not playing well. And those two guys being out are huge because, they rely on so much of their offensive production from those two guys. Now, Sergio Aguero has been back, and he's really been struggling to get back into rhythm. Before he was injured in the game against Everton, he was just unbelievable. He was City's hero time and time again. In the game against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, just game after game, City was down, and he just was always finding a way. You couldn't stop him. When he had the ball and he was going towards the goal, he was going to score. He could not be stopped. He struggled to get back after being hurt. Vincent Kompany's back also. I think his transition has been kind of tough. And the reason we're all saying this is City's last chance is Chelsea's in first. They're up by 5 points right now. If they got a win on Saturday, they would be up by 8. If the lead was 8, I just don't think Manchester City could catch them again. They were both level around New Year's, and then City started to fall off again. And here's the thing about Chelsea. Now, Chelsea did have one or two performances that weren't great. Only really had one game where they were just clearly just destroyed. But Chelsea doesn't have a lot of games where they're just not the better team that day. There's so many times where just defensively alone they could grind out a win. And I think that's one thing that City doesn't do. City will always have, like they've had this season, those weird performances where they get a draw against a bad opponent. Like earlier in the season, they struggled a lot against teams they should just not, like to Stoke City, a loss at home. So City has those kind of games, and you just don't really see those from Chelsea. So I think the two teams are by far and alone the two best in the English Premier League. But this is it for City. If they don't win here, they cannot get the title. And unfortunately, for me being a City fan, I think we're looking at a 1-1 draw. Now, I think both sides are missing key pieces, especially more on Chelsea's front. Manchester City has enough depth where they could still get over Yaya Toure and Wilfried Bony. They've been without them for the last couple weeks because of the African Cup of Nations, which they're participating in. So it's not good for City right now. I think it's a 1-1 draw. The first game early in the season was 1-1, and City was down until probably the 80-minute mark, and then Frank Lampard came off the bench, and he was able to score the tying goal. So I don't know if Frank Lampard is going to have to pull out the heroics out of his hat again. I think, though, we're looking at a 1-1 draw. But just both teams, Man City's not playing that well. Chelsea is playing well, but they are missing two of their biggest pieces. 1-1 draw. We'll see what happens in that one. And then you go to the La Liga front. Only 1 point separates Real Madrid and Barcelona. And right now, the huge headlines have been Cristiano Ronaldo. He's been cool. I mean, he has cooled off. It's kind of funny since the Ballon d'Or awards where he won Best Player of the Year. His play has kind of dropped off a little bit, and Messi has just taken it. I mean, look, Messi is always the best. No one's better. Ronaldo's fantastic, but no one's better than Messi is. But he's just taken it to another level, playing out of his mind right now at every game. And Barcelona is just the best team in La Liga right now. They've really come out. After the first game after the winter break, they've really just been locked in and just been playing phenomenally well. Real Madrid's fallen off a little bit, struggled. They're out of Copa del Rey. Barcelona is moving on in Copa del Rey. They've been doing really well in La Liga individually and in Copa del Rey. So they're just playing well all over the place right now. Now, this weekend these next 2 weeks are going to be huge because Cristiano Ronaldo got hit with a 2-match ban for punching kicks thrown against Jose Angel Crespo in Cordoba last weekend. I was watching Manchester City, so I missed that, but I watched the replay of it. So Ronaldo being out is big. Now, Real Madrid has all the depth in the world to overcome it, especially in these next 2 games, which they absolutely can win. But if there is a draw there, again, only 1 point separates them. This is a big-time opportunity for Barcelona to overtake them for the first spot because right now, Barcelona is definitely playing better than they are. They just seem to be clicking on all fronts. I mean, look, we all understand who the big three for that team is. Luis Suarez, Neymar Jr., and Messi. The three of them just kind of seem to be in the zone right now. I mean, Messi, like I keep saying, Ray Hudson said it best. He lives in the electromagnetic spectrum of genius. Nobody better. But, I mean, just Neymar just seems like he's found it. Suarez, it took him a little while, but right now, he's just... And the thing I love about him is he's such a willing passer. I think unselfish is a big thing for this team because you have 3 guys who could be the best player on any team, right? Anywhere else in the world. But they're figuring it out. They're working well together. And I think the biggest one who's kind of sacrificing his goal scoring is Suarez because he's really taken a backseat and is becoming a passer, a very effective passer, which is making things easier for everyone else. Barcelona's in the zone right now, but this is big. Barcelona really has a good shot here to do something. We'll see if Real Madrid, Gareth Bale, a lot of the weight is being put on his shoulders. I think if you're a Real Madrid fan, a little disappointing. I mean, he hasn't been bad. He's been picking up lately, but I think you would have expected a little bit more, and he's going to have the opportunity to do it now without Ronaldo. Ronaldo will be back against Atletico Madrid, and let's face it, they've struggled. Real Madrid has struggled against Atletico Madrid. In Copa del Rey, in the regular season, it's a team that always gives them problems. It's a great rivalry. They always play each other well. Atletico is so tactically sound. It's going to be a tough game coming back against. So we could really see the momentum. The momentum's already starting to shift towards Barcelona. I think we're going to really start to see it. It'll be interesting. I mean, these games are very important. Real Madrid is playing Saturday. Barcelona is playing Sunday. We'll absolutely be keeping an eye on both of those. But that is not it. As if you needed another big soccer match, you have the 2015 AFC Asian Cup Final, South Korea against Australia. Australia is hosting the tournament, so it would be very cool. I mean, look, I'm not going to pretend I'm not biased. I love my Soccerroos. How could you not like them? I mean, I want to thank my brother big time who got me the national team jersey for Australia. And when I saw it, it had a kangaroo on it. If you have a kangaroo on your jersey, I'm pretty much sold on you. I love the Socceroos, really pulling for them to get the win here. They did lose to South Korea 2-0. I believe it was their only loss of the Cup. I didn't get to watch too much of this Cup because the times were kind of weird because of where the location in the world, but I would definitely want to try to catch this last one. Believe it will be at 2 o'clock on ABC this Saturday, but it should be fun. Go Socceroos. That is going to do it for this segment. When we come back, of course, it's time to talk football. American football, and it's time to talk Super Bowl 49. So stay with us, and we will be right back.